Quit telling these 9-year-old boys they the man of the house. Ain't no 9-year-old boy ready to be no man of the house.
Okay.
But because you told him that, he now begins to wonder. When you then bring over your man for the evening, Mom, I thought I was the man of the house. Why are you bringing him over? You can't have it both ways. If he's going to be the man of the house, quit bringing your boyfriend over on Saturday night.
Okay.
You know what's sad, though? These brothers think, but they can do with their mamas, they can do with their teacher, their coach, and everybody else. In other words, living at home with you in a $100 pair of gym shoes, $80 pair of a Gucci handbag. In other words, these boys have mastered how to manipulate their mamas. And they think what they can do with you, they can do with everybody else. Only to find out what you let them get away with, no one else does.
What's going on? I'm AnokhiTheOne, back with another video. And in this video, I'm going to be reacting to, I think his name is Juwanza Kunjufu, and it's called Countering the Conspiracy to Destroy Black Boys. He has a book about it, and he also has this, it's like an hour-long video, but I'm just gonna go to a point that I've pointed out in some of my videos before, and I'm going to react to his full point, and so y'all can see that I'm not just making this stuff up outside my neck, okay? And I think the 80s, the 70s and the 80s is a good time. Like if you really want to know like some truth and some solutions when it comes to the Black community, the LGBT community, I really think the 70s and 80s was a time where there were real movements, there were real grassroots movements. And I highly recommend looking to people who are not currently, glorified, right? Like literally look for the people who you've never heard of, which is probably hard, but like people, like if you search certain terms and different things like that, or you're looking up different books and you've never heard of the author, get that book, get the book, get it, because that's the people, those are the people that was really making moves and that had some like intellectual insight a lot of times that they don't want us to know about. You feel me? So yeah, let's check it out.
Explain what you meant by saying women raise their daughters.
We're coming to that, Gwen. Matter of fact, I think it's probably the next point. Matter of fact, it is. Praise the Lord. Let's go to the next point. See, we were looking at the active conspirators, and we were looking at what the effect that causes on us in terms of male behavior. And we may not be able to control or to change Reagan, Rockefeller, Weinberger, but your question we can change. We can look at some mothers. And I said some, not all.
This is
the rumor is that some mothers raise their daughters and love their sons. My boy always loved his mama. 40 years of age, still went home with you. That needs to stop. Your boy is not yours. He is a future husband, a future father, and needs to be raised that way. And what I mean by raised, teach your son how to cook, to make up his own bed, to clean up his own bathtub ring because you raised your daughter. On the honor roll every marking period. Goes to church with you every Sunday. And she can cook, sew, iron, and clean all, but then we have your son. Ain't never seen an honor roll. He plays basketball all evening long. Never goes to church and can't boil a hot dog. The rumor is we have some, not all, raising their daughters and loving their sons.
Pause. Can I get an amen? Lord have mercy. What? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It's like, I mean, it's so rare to hear a man of color being that direct and being that straight up. It's like this whole, and I can even go into the red pill movement, because the red pill movement, there are some things that are legitimate, okay? But there are a lot of things where it is literally Black men, or men in general, with the single mother syndrome. They have been coddled. They have been loved, but they have not been raised. So they feel betrayed when they're presented with the facts and the idea that you should be able to clean your drawers. You should be able to wash the dishes and feed yourself. You want a woman We are in modern times. We're in modern times. Okay. And a lot of times women are raising their girls. They're making sure that, and I used to, you know what? I actually used to hate this growing up. I used to be very upset about this growing up, but now I appreciate it because like, it's funny because I was just like, I don't like this, right? But I do appreciate it because I was raised and my dad was raised. My dad cooked, he cleaned, he was very disciplined, he worked early in the morning. He picked me and my sister up from school. Like, he did everything. Everything that my mom could do and everything that my mom did do, he did it as well. And matter of fact, like when I was little, he did more of it because they worked together to build, like for my mom to be able to build her business. And my dad had the stable job. He was like the more disciplined. He worked for FedEx. And so he had a job to where he could go to work at 4 o'clock in the, I think it was like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning and be home by 2 o'clock so he could pick me and my sister up from school when we were kids, right? And my mom would drop us off or we'd ride there on the bus and she would be working like from 10 a.m. until like sometimes midnight. My mom was hustling with that hair. She was hustling, twirling that hair, you know what I'm saying? Building up her hair salon, right? And they had to work as a team because otherwise she can't, how's she gonna work from 10 a.m. till 2 o'clock in the morning sometimes, and in the weekdays and on the weekends sometimes, building the business, if she also has to take care of the kids, she has to clean, she has to make sure my dad has food when he gets home, even though he's getting home at 2 p.m. Like, they're working as a team, right? And they are both able to do whatever needs to be done to make the family work. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like when I hear guys talking about, well, I shouldn't have to, if I work all day, I shouldn't have to clean or cook. I should have a hot meal when I go home. Well, what kind of job are you doing? Like my dad, and that's another thing, women, I've been wanting to talk about this too. Women have been bamboozled by the education industry, also men as well, by this idea of modern education. And it's like these feminine white collar men, not all of them, but a lot of these feminine white collar men are seen as the high value men and the prize for women. They're making 6 figures, 7 figures, and not only are they making 6 or 7 figures, but they're doctors and they're lawyers and different things like that, or online entrepreneurs or whatever the case may be. But if you actually think about what they're physically doing, right, or that maybe even they're CEOs or high level in corporate America, but if you actually think about what, like the day to day of what they're doing, a lot of it is very feminine. A lot of it is sitting in front of a computer typing, right? That what kind of, like, unless you're consciously going out and doing masculine things and putting that on top of your plate, what you do in the workplace day to day, you also have a boss telling you when to use the bathroom and when you get to go on vacation and when you get to get off work and when you get, right? And at the same time, you're in a cubicle and you're doing this all day. And then you get home and you're upset with your wife because she doesn't have something to cook, even though she might be working just as many hours as you. She might be doing the same caliber of work as you. Y'all might be getting paid the exact same, right? And for her, it's really not that big of a deal because she's feminine, right? Women, like even in school, it's very effeminate, right? The way they teach, where you're sitting down basically like a cubicle and you're just looking up to your teacher while they're telling you what to do. Like, that's very feminine, right? Because even in an environment where because I've done this when I'm teaching, where I allow, okay, well, everybody's just gonna stand up because I'm trying to adjust to the masculine and feminine energy in my classroom, right? Didn't do school thing for very long, but I did it long enough to have this experiment, right? And boys want to run around. They want to be standing up. They want to be looking eye to eye. They're like, hey, we having a conversation. You ask me something, I ask you something too, right? Like, they want that kind of respect. Nothing wrong with that, in my opinion. Women and girls, they like to sit down and do their work. They're very chill. They're very, very like calm. Like even if I'm like, oh, we can stand up, y'all can, you know, do the class this way or whatever, where you can run and go back and forth with the dictionary and look up words and stuff like that. They still want to sit down. They still will gravitate to sitting down, right? And so that is the difference between masculine and feminine energy. So they have convinced so many women, right, that it's a good idea to in order to brag about your husband, you want a white collar guy. He's a lawyer. He's a doctor. He's this, he's that. He's sitting at a cubicle typing like a little girl. Let's just be completely honest, right? Like, and to me, there's nothing wrong with that as long as you're balancing that energy. Right? But if you're doing that and you're like, oh, I have 3 degrees, I have 4 degrees, and you're just, this is what you do all day, like a little girl. And then you get home and you're upset with your wife because you've been feminized all day by your boss that's telling you what to do. You want to talk about emasculation? You get a masculine job. Okay, get a masculine job. Okay, lift some weights, do some karate, go and do boxing. Make sure you're at the basketball court at some point while you're doing what you're doing, okay? Because you've been in feminine energy all day, and then now your wife is home, and you're home, and you don't feel like you're getting the respect you deserve from her, and you're feeling away. And then at the same time, as a woman, your man is feminine. Your man is feminine. Y'all getting manicures and pedicures together. Y'all, he looking in the mirror just as much as you with his suits on and everything. Like, and there's nothing wrong with taking care of yourself. That's not what I'm saying. But y'all know what I'm talking about, right? Y'all know, they're just, they, like, you don't even feel safe around them. If something pops off, he is worried about his shoes getting scuffed up. No, okay. That's feminine. I'm sorry, it's the feminine. All right. And so a lot of women, they overlook the guys like my dad, who is working for FedEx. They lift the boxes. They getting up early in the morning. They lifting the boxes and they throwing the boxes. They got muscles from working day to day. And they may have a boss, but then the boss is not really overlording, right? They get their mission, they go on their mission, they do what they need to do, and they handle their business. And they can cook, they can clean, and they don't mind doing it. They don't mind picking up the kids. They don't mind taking care of the kids, watching the kids, taking the kids to the park, and having and balancing the household. But a lot of you women, right? And also, Initially, I thought I was going to be talking more about black men, but at the same time, it's both, because this is all a part of it. Because a lot of women are being fully raised, right? A lot of men are not being raised, but there are men that are being raised. But the men who are actually being raised, they're in their masculine energy. They're doing masculine work. That work, a lot of times, is not glorified by society. It's not glorified by the entertainment, the education system, right? Unless they're a rapper, that's hyper masculine. Entertainer, hyper masculine. They're a ball player, that's hyper masculine. Right. And then there's that. And then there's doctors, lawyers, which is a lot of that is kind of feminine. Right. So, you know, people like women don't want to have somebody that's a plumber or a carpenter or a builder or somebody that's actually using their muscles when they're a builder. Like, how do they convince you that it's not a good idea to be with a builder? Like, that somebody can work with their hands. They can fix your car, a mechanic. You know what I'm saying? Like, men that are doing masculine work. You know what I mean? And so that's something that you ladies need to work on. You need to think about, like, what are you even really attracted to when you're trying to talk to these white collar guys? Because a lot of times I feel like y'all just attracted to the idea that you can brag about them, but at the same time you could brag about them to the people that you see maybe once a year, maybe 2 times a month, but then you have to live your life with this effeminate little brat. A lot of times, they be little feminine brats. They think that they're, I can get any girl that I want. I can get any girl I want. My boots are popping, honey. No, no, I'm not sure you want that. I'm not sure you want that. But
Now, I know the historical reason. The historical reason is our society's always trying to destroy black men. The lynchings. So black mothers always want to overprotect their sons.
It's true.
What's the reason today? I know the KKK is on the rise. But what's the reason today? Is it because your own black man didn't stay? You now replaced your man with your son?
Yes.
Your son is not yours.
That happens.
He's a future husband.
That's
a future father. And needs to be raised that way.
Mm-hmm.
Quit telling these 9-year-old boys they the man of the house. Ain't no 9-year-old boy ready to be no man of the house.
Okay.
But because you told him that, he now begins to wonder. When you then bring over your man for the evening, Mom, I thought I was the man of the house. Why are you bringing him over? You can't have it both ways. If he's going to be the man of the house, quit bringing your boyfriend over on Saturday night.
Okay.
You know what's sad, though? These brothers think what they can do with their mamas, they can do with their teacher, their coach, and everybody else. In other words, living at home with you in a $100 pair of gym shoes, $80 pair of a Gucci handbag. In other words, these boys have mastered how to manipulate their mamas. And they think what they can do with you, they can do with everybody else. Only to find out what you let them get away with, nobody else does.
That's deep. That's deep. Wait. He said these men have mastered how to manipulate their mothers. Whoa! And they think when they can get away with their mothers, they can get away with their... Ooh, boy, that boy cold. He cold. That, whoa. I'm speechless right now. Because wait, why? He said they think these mothers, because it's true. It's crazy. You have so many men, and I'm gonna just say men. I'm gonna stop saying black men. You have so many men, but I know black men more than I know other men, but they have so many men whose mother will buy them everything. Their mother will buy them the latest J's, the latest clothes. They can manipulate their mother. And at the same time, they have a daughter who she has to work, right? She has to do chores. She has to wash the dishes. She has to be able to cook. She has to be able to clean. She has to be able to do all this other stuff to be able to get the J's and the this and the that and the whatever, right? But the boys, they just have to stay out of trouble. Ooh, that's all you gotta do. A lot of times when I tell you, as long as you don't get in a fight when you're in school, as long as you make at least, that's crazy, right? They don't have the same standards, and they're so afraid, which is feminine, toxic feminine energy. They're so emotional. They're so afraid of their child getting lost to the streets or, not being raised and not being protected or getting killed by somebody, or just afraid of all these different threats, right? So instead of building a strong child, right? Instead of building up a warrior, instead of raising them, they coddle them. They think that if I give them everything that they need and everything that they want and everything that I possibly can, that they will be able to really, you're shielding them from dealing with real life, dealing with real negativity that comes into the world that just is, that happens, right? And so because there are so many women and mothers that are like this, right? And also, I don't want them to leave me, right? Because they're like this and they're needy, they're so needy, the son grows up manipulating that. They use that against their mother, right? They use that against their mother. Different tools. They might even go out and get in trouble on purpose, right? So then they can act good so they can get something, right? It like mind-blowing, right? And this is so real. When I tell you this is real, this is so accurate. And then they go into relationships like that. They go into relationships looking for their mother, and they manipulate the women that they're dealing with in the same way that they manipulated their mother. They try to act like the damsel in distress. What? They try to act like the damsel in distress, and I'm so lost, and I just can't, and I can't handle myself, and I can't deal with it, and I'm just trying to act right, I'm trying to get it together, and I just and they want the woman to like, they could go and cheat, they could do any and everything, right? But they have this damsel in distress story that gets the heartstrings of the woman, right? And damn near raises him, damn near wants his girlfriend to raise him, okay, right? And then when she doesn't, or if she doesn't, he's pissed off at her. He's resentful towards her when she's not willing to raise him, when that's not her duty, right? And your mother didn't even raise you right, so why you want her to raise you? Yikes.
In other words, 90% of all teenage pregnancy programs counsel the women. We have teenage pregnancy running rampant. But as far as the last time I looked, it took 2 to make a baby. But 90% of the programs let the brothers off the hook. The real question is, who is going to teach black boys to be responsible? And you don't starve when he makes a baby. In other words, the real question is, who's going to teach black boys to be responsible for his personal hygiene, for his clothes, for his chores, for his room, for his siblings, for his allowance, for his studies, for his toys, for his schedule, and then his sex life. You don't start with responsibility at 16. It starts very early. For example, when I was growing up, my father...
Wait a minute. I like him. I like him. I like him because I do not feel at any point like it's genuine concern. It's not like he's trying to bash black men. It's not he's trying to bash single mothers. He's just stating the facts. He's just saying straight up, 90% of single mother programs, and this is why there's such a huge cognitive bias with these red pill people, or period, just right now, just in society, when it comes to teen pregnancy. Right? There's such a cognitive bias when it comes to pregnancy, period, that is outside of marriage, right? He said 90% of teenage pregnancy program only addresses the women when the women are not having the children by themselves. How come the programs are not addressing men? How come the programs are not looking for the fathers and making sure the fathers are in the program with the mothers, or have their own personal program to teach them how to be a father and raise that child that they helped to create? It's so crazy. And it's wild to me when I say, well, if you're going to talk about single mothers, do you realize that single motherhood and father absent is the same thing? You can't have a single mother without an absent father. You cannot have a single mother without an absent father. So if we're going to talk about single motherhood, we also have to talk about absent fatherhood. Okay? It's the same cognitive bias when you talk about, when you get mad about police brutality, but you're not willing to talk about black on black crime, right? Because police fight crime. If there's more people committing crimes in a certain area, then you're going to have more police in that area. Okay, you have to be able to think about, you have to acknowledge that 2 things can be true at the same time. Okay, and not be so married to being right. That's why a lot of people, when they try to debate me, whether it's women or men, they try to pit me into some kind of box as if I'm on a side, but I'm like, no, they both are true. Let's talk about them both together so we can have a real solution.
My father opened up a mutual fund account for me. And every year on my birthday, explained to me, this is how much money you have in your account. But if you make a baby, all your money is going to take care of your child.
Wow.
Should it be any different? If I enjoy making it, shouldn't I also take care of it? So my oldest son, who was 15, I've been doing the same thing with him, the 9-year-old and the 15-year-old. So he told me last year, he said, Daddy, this money looks so good to me. I've just decided I'm not ever making me a baby. I'm keeping all my money to myself. But the point is, the boy understands responsibility. He understands if I make a baby, you will take care of it.
There you go. And see, this is also like, I knew before he even said that he actually was raised, period. This man was raised. This black man was raised. He had a father in the household, right? That's why he's able to speak with such authority and not being biased, because he grew up with his parents. He grew up with both parents. So he doesn't have this huge blind spot that so many people have, where they have normalized a lot of the things that are going on, which aren't really that normal, right? And this idea of, he said his father would, like with their allowance, he would make them put their money in a bank account or whatever the case may be until they're, I think, 18 or 20 or something like that. And it comes from the chores that they've done, and they could see the money getting higher and higher. They're getting more money in this bank account. And he said, the only thing is, if you have a child, sons, if you have a child, you're going to have to use that money that you've been earning since you maybe you're 7, 8, 9 years old to take care of that child, right? Imagine, you know what I'm saying? Imagine, okay? People always want to talk about women. If they don't want to be single mothers, well, they need to close their legs. They need to make sure they're not leaving their legs wide open and doing it with anybody and all this other. But at the same time, sir, aren't men courting the women? Aren't men the leaders of women? Don't y'all claim y'all want to be the leaders? Y'all want to be the head? Aren't y'all the one going after women most of the time? Are these women chasing after you, trying to get you to impregnate them? No. Okay, mostly no. They're not going up, they ain't hollering at you, okay? But if you gonna holler, if you're gonna initiate, okay, if you're gonna go down that path, buddy, you should be held accountable for what is created from that you initiated. You will never be able to convince me of that, because I have a father who was never going to leave us like that. Like, he was very aware that we were his children, and it's also disheartening. It really is disheartening. Not disheartening, but it's heartbreaking that, like, so many men are not like that. Are not like, okay, these are my children. I don't give a goddamn how old I am. I don't give a goddamn what her mom doing or whatever. That's my child. That's my child. What? Like, it's just normal. Like, what? Raise your child.
There are mothers who know their son impregnated some girl on the same block, and they say, well, boys will be boys.
Huh.
They will be whatever you let them be.
Exactly.
I want to pause now. Explain this. Why are some mothers raising their daughters and loving their sons? Did you grow up in a household where you did more work if you're the sister than your brothers did? Why is that? And you know what else I believe? I believe that child rearing has a lot to determine in marriage. In other words, marrying a mama's boy is a very critical mistake.
Ooh.
Because they can always go back to their mamas. Son, the room is just the way it always was. That's your favorite pound of cake whenever you want to get there. It is terrible marrying a mama's boy. Comments. It's my water break. Give me some feedback on mothers with their sons. What do you think about this?
He said there are plenty of mothers. This is very true. The same mothers that these red pill men will talk so much trash about, who are so resentful towards. These same mothers that they say is so toxic and so, overbearing and abusive and all this other stuff, right? These same mothers, okay, if their sons gets a girl pregnant, and you're like, well, I don't know anything about that. They haven't gotten a DNA test. Well, that doesn't look like my son's baby. I don't know what you're talking about. Boys will be boys. Oh, da, da, da. If you need to come home, I'm right here. Do, 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 do. Whatever. Right? And they make it very comfortable and easy. And so with that, right, they're so resentful towards their mothers, but at the same time, they know at any time that they can always go home, right? They can always go back, even if they have children. There is nothing that these boys can do that would warrant their mother just kicking them out for good and them having to fend for themselves and deal with life and take care of their children. Like, but a woman, which this is, to me, this is so illogical. If you get pregnant, if you want to act wrong, guess what? You gonna be out the house like you grown. Oh, you gonna get pregnant? Well, you gonna have to deal with that on your own. That makes no damn sense to me. That makes no sense. And even if it does, you got to keep the same energy. You have girls being raised with brothers, right? Having brothers who impregnated women, other girls at 14, 15, 16, who are still living at the house with their mom at 30, okay? But that same sister might have got pregnant at 15, 16, and the mother kicked the sister out to raise her child by herself, but didn't kick the sons out for impregnating other girls. What? That's crazy. And so when you just think about the betrayal, for one, of the women and the sisters, right, of the daughters who are growing up and seeing this betrayal and seeing this favoritism and seeing this privilege that their brothers are getting, right? Not only are you not doing anything, not only are you not working, not only are you not getting good grades, not only are you not staying out of trouble, but you are literally, you could get away with murder with mama, but I can't get away with nothing. Right? And so you want to talk about women being masculine. You want to talk about girls being masculine. Okay. They're so emasculate and they're emasculating me and they're emasculating me. They're emasculating me. Right? You want to talk about women being masculine? Well, damn. You know, to have that much responsibility, even to the point where if you have a child with a man, you are fully responsible for that child, but he's not. It's a choice for him. It's not a choice for you, right? It's a choice for him if he wants to stay in the home. It's not a choice for you if you get pregnant and get kicked out the house, right? So then you got to man up. Why is women having to man up? Why is women having to man up? What? This is real, right? And so I like, yes, I can talk about systemic, I could talk about, you know, government assistance and how it made it easier for women to be able to raise children on their own, or made it an incentive for them to be single mothers, or you talk about Jim Crow and talk about the mass incarceration and all this other stuff. But at the end of the day, I've never met and I have never heard a woman say, I would love to be a single mother. You know what? When I grow up, I want to be a single mother. I've never heard a woman say, you know what? I think it would be way better if he just were to not do anything for our child and I just did it all on my own. I've never. Then this is the narrative that these red pill people are creating, as if women are just out here. That's the crazy. As if women are out here looking for a man to impregnate them so that they can be single mothers. They're being praised for being single mothers. No, they're being praised for raising their damn children any way that they could. Y'all get praised. Men get praised for visiting their children once a month. They get praised for having pictures online with their children. They get praised for acknowledging that they have a child. They get praised for every little bitty itty bitty thing that they do as a parent. Like, literally. It's just like, oh my God. I saw some talking about Father of the Year, Chris Brown, Father of the Year, because he brought his daughter to the practice or whatever, to the dance practice, and he was holding her and doing little dances. Father of the Year. And not to downplay Chris Brown, like, he's a father. I'm not gonna judge whether somebody's a good father or not, but Father of the Year, that just shows the disparity of fathers. For somebody, when I saw him like doing a little dance moves with his daughter, holding her at the practice, I was like, oh, that's sweet, that's cute, right? Because I was raised with my father, and I'm on his hip everywhere. If we're going into the grocery store, I'm on his hip. We're going together. I'm what everywhere, right? Like, when you sing, like, this is normal. That's how it's supposed to be. If you go to the park, I'm there. If get you know what I'm saying? So it's just like that. I thought that's just what you're supposed to do. Minimum. Do what needs to happen for stuff to work. It's crazy. It's crazy. And people, and these guys, they're like, man, we need to go back to the traditional days, back in the day when women just stayed at the house and took care of the kids, and they cooked and cleaned and make sure the food was ready when the man come home. Right? But at the same time, it's like, y'all don't respect that. Y'all don't, a lot of you, not all, right? A lot of men don't respect that. Why? Because imagine what that looks like dating when you're just boyfriend and girlfriend, right? It's one thing marriage and then you develop that, but imagine that mentality, boyfriend and girlfriend, right? If you want a woman to be completely and totally dependent on you financially, because that's what that's ultimately is, and y'all, like, you don't want her to have a career or to be doing anything or whatever, and she's completely dependent on you, right? And not to say she doesn't have to have anything, but she's completely dependent on you and the children that y'all make, and then she can just take care of it and take care of you, and that's it. She can just be that, right? What you would call that is a gold digger. And then you would want a prenup because she's a gold digger. Why? Because she doesn't have a career, she doesn't have her own money, and I brought the money into the relationship. I had this money before she got here, and all she does is cook and clean and take care of the kids. Y'all should make up your mind about that, because that's, you know, if you were to actually pay somebody to do that, if you want to respect, if you want to talk about traditional, right? Because, you know, people are paid to do that nowadays. Like, if you actually were to pay someone to do all those things, like daycare, if you were to pay them to, you know, have your child, your surrogate, if you were to pay them to clean your house and cook for you and all this other stuff, well, then all this money that you're making, right, you wouldn't be making that much money, because you'd have to be paying someone to do all the things that this stay-at-home wife is doing, right? So that if you were to calculate that, well, actually, you know, you wouldn't have that much money. You would actually have about, you know, X, Y, Z less money, right? You see how that works? And then so then when you have a woman who has a career, she has it going for her, and she doesn't need you for money. She doesn't need your money, right? Because she has a career. She's taking care of herself. She knows how to cook and clean for herself. She's independent. Oh, nobody wants an independent woman. Nobody really wants an independent woman. But you don't want a dependent woman either. You want to put prenups in place. You want to call her a gold digger. You want to act like that doesn't have any value, but you're claiming that's what you want. So then you have a woman who is independent, which you should be as a human being, if you're single, do you want her to go from man to man, being dependent on man to man until she finds her king? Y'all gotta make your minds up, because look, we're in a world where you have to make money to survive. Like, we're not in the times where you can live off, well, you can, but in most cities, and you know what I'm saying, you're not living off the land, right? So she can't just be like, oh, well, I have this house and I have a garden here and I can just cook and clean and I don't have to worry about money or any. You get my drift? You see how confusing that is? You see how wild that is? So then when you have a woman who is independent, because like that's kind of like what you have to be to survive in life, and probably educated. She probably went to school, probably got the same level of degrees as you, right? She's just trying to do her thing in the world. Then you're mad. Then she's masculine. Then she is too masculine. She is independent. She's too independent. She doesn't need me. What do you need me for? What do you need a man for if you can do everything? Wow. So you want her to not be dependent on you, but you don't want her to be independent, because if she is the independent, she masculine, she don't need you, but you don't want her to need you for money, because then you should sign a prenup, and you all the money that you made before she here, she ain't doing nothing, but she raising your children, and she cooking, and she cleaning, and she doing it, but you. What do you want? 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 Now I sound like old dude from the Notebook. What do you want? And I be feeling sorry. I'm sorry. I just be feeling sorry for the straight women's. When I be hearing these men talk like this, I be feeling so sorry for straight women's. Because it's just like, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't, right? Because they have this whole wave of women who are largely, you got to give me a Birkin bag, and I need to be pampered. You have this whole sugar baby movement. You have this whole movement of sugar babies and glorified prostitutes and strippers, right? No, if you're a prostitute, stripper, you're a sugar baby. If the shoe fits, wear it. Don't be mad. They're just glorified right now, right? But then you also have women who are working their asses off. They were raised, right? And they're doing what they need to do to where they don't need a man. So then you can't say that they're with you for money, but then you're mad that they're not with you for money. But you don't want them to be with you for money. What? Do you want her to work you want her to do all that work to not need you for money, right? And then give up her whole career so she now needs you for money. But then you want her to sign a prenup because she don't have no money, or you call her a gold digger, you disrespect her when she is in the position that you say that you feel like she should be in, as if she's not doing anything, when again, all this stuff would cost money, and you wouldn't be able to make the type of money that you're able to make if you had to do you had to take care of all these responsibilities by yourself, or you had to pay for somebody to take care of all these. So y'all got to pick a struggle. You got to pick a struggle. Do you want to have the struggle of having to be the full weight of the financial stability for the family? Do you want that struggle? Or do you want to have to struggle with your ego a little bit and have a woman that doesn't really need you for money, may even be making more money than you, and your guys your friends might talk about you. You might have to deal with that struggle, but at the same time, y'all are able to build together, right? And like, I don't want no woman, I don't want no business partner, I don't want no girl working with me in my business, I don't need that. Okay, so do you want her? What do you want? What do you want? Okay, what do you want? You're confusing the girls. The girls are confused. Okay, the girls are confused. I'm gonna just be completely honest. I mean, y'all are the heads. Y'all are supposed to be the heads. Y'all are supposed to be the head of the household. Y'all are supposed to be the leader. So, there's a lot of conflicting things out there. Y'all got to make up your minds on how you want to lead, right? Like how you want to take responsibility. Like, what is it that you actually want? So, ladies, I feel sorry for y'all. Straights, women. But and not to say that there's not guys who were raised by men and raised by mothers and fathers who got it right. You know, there's plenty of those people, right? There's plenty of those people that have that have had examples that they could look to, right? And so if you don't have those examples, you don't have real life, realistic, not celebrities. Okay, stop that. Not movies, not TV shows. Okay, not black and white films. If you don't have real life, you know, examples of how that can work or how it works or how it should work, so you haven't really questioned and realistically thought about it and, you know, seen it work, okay, you should go and find those people. Right? You should go and find examples and look for examples and read books. Don't just read books about red pill men. Don't just read books about alpha men and all this alphaness where you're just so alpha and so masculine that, or, you know, whatever, that you can't relate to women at all. Right? Like I'm too manly for you. I'm too no. Okay? You have to be able to balance both ideas. You have to be able to have a conversation with a woman, listen, respond. Women, you have to be able to have a conversation with a man, listen, respond, right? And, you know, take it in. Y'all have to be able to communicate, right? And maybe it is easier for you to watch a video like this or read a book by somebody who's not super biased, like somebody that's not super duper feminist or super duper red pill, right? To help you to, you know, come with something realistic in your mind, right? It's not so contradictory, right? And yeah. So that's what I think. This is only a short, but this man fire. Please go get the book, The Conspiracy to Destroy Black Boys. There are so many virtue signaling black men and women in all races who destroy black boys. They literally destroy black boys. They destroy black men by coddling. And yeah, I know y'all hate when people say it. I know y'all hate it. The rare people who actually say it. But thank the Lord for this man. I would love to interview him, but just straight talk. Like, man, it's just man to man. Y'all want to watch him? Y'all, please watch this. Talk to some fathers. Talk to some men who are raising their children, right? Like, who are in their lives with the people who created their baby, right? Have those conversations with them, please, please, please. All right, I'll see y'all in the next video. I'm out. Like, subscribe. I'm sure there's gonna be plenty of comments, okay? Because y'all be having a whole lot to say. All right, when I talk about stuff like this. But I'll see y'all in the next video.